Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. So, we have finished season 2 of Free, and so I have a series of things I want to watch before we start season 3. And the first thing on that list of free items to watch is the OVA, which I have been highly recommended. I want to give a huge shout out to Dastardly Bastard on Patreon. Thank you. The only version of this I could find was with Chinese subtitles, and I was like, what am I doing? And so I bought the Blu-ray DVD, but it was going to take a while to get here. And so I was like, for scheduling reasons, I'm like, I really would like to find the one with the English subtitles, just in case the Blu-ray for season 2 doesn't have the OVA, because I was concerned about it. And so, Dastardly Bastard, thank you. They found and sent me an English subtitled version. You're a saint. Thank you so much. So I have the English subtitles. It's a fan translation for the subtitles, but as long as we get the gist of what's happening, I'm fine. But I've heard this OVA is very, very funny. I've heard it's got some fan service. And it's an OVA, so I'm all for it. You know what? Season 2 has been absolutely wonderful, and I definitely am all about watching this OVA first. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the OVA, and then next week we are going to do the movie Starting Days, which I've heard is a full feature-length movie, which is really exciting that Free has a giant movie, because the last couple of anime movies I've watched have been like 50 minutes, 58 minutes, and then I checked the time on Starting Days, and it was like an hour and 50 minutes, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like 4 episodes in one. So that's so exciting, right? So I'm pretty excited about it. But in any case, that's next week. This week we are going to do the OVA for Eternal Summer. And then, yeah. So I don't know what to expect about this. Obviously, it takes place after season 2 ends. So after Nationals. I'm just excited for some shenanigans with our boys. I don't know if we're going to have any new characters introduced in this one. I looked at the Starting Days poster, and there was a bunch of people. I had no clue what was going on. So clearly we'll get new characters in that movie. But I'm curious. I know nothing about this OVA other than a lot of people said it was good. So with that being said, we are going to start the Free Eternal Summer OVA. We're going to start that here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Nope. Oh my gosh. If we're treating this as part of season 2, that may be my favorite episode of the season. That was so good from start to finish. That was so good. Oh my gosh. I want to turn the sound off and just, okay, the Maid Cafe. I love a culture festival, and of course Samazuka has a culture festival. This episode was wonderful for so many reasons, and there was so much I wanted to talk about in the moment, but for 23 minutes they packed a lot of stuff into this episode, and so it was hard for me to talk in the moment. I was like, I wanted to say something, and then I'd be like, nope, we're moving on to something else. But it's just all of these characters that we have grown to know their character and know how they are in their personality, seeing it just have fun in this episode and not really have any plot relevance. It's just them having fun and being just carefree. I love it. First of all, the Maid Cafe is hilarious. And of course, Samazuka's an all-boys academy, which I didn't realize. I did not put 2 and 2 together that it was all boys. But that makes so much more sense now. It's like, oh yeah, there aren't any girls there. It makes so much more sense why Momo is so obsessed with Go. He's like, I've not seen a girl in this school for a whole year. I'm gonna just talk to you. And it's like, oh buddy. I paused it right here where Haru kneels down to help Notori up, but Haru thinks that Notori's a girl because he's in the maid costume. And if you look back at everyone's faces, like Nagisa's like, what a beautiful young lady that Haru's helping. But Rei and Mako have the most unamused look on their faces, like, come on, Nagisa, you can't figure it out that's Notori. Yeah, and Mako's like, wait, why is there a girl in an all-boys school? And it's like, oh, it's Notori. I imagine that there's so many Haru Notori fanfics just based off this OVA. That's hilarious to me. Nagisa and Kasumi win the award for most handsy men of Free, because Kasumi is like if you watch Kasumi's actions in this, like his hands are all over Sosuke and he's like instantly like bumping wrists with Rin, and it's like, Kasumi is so handsy. He's like very touchy feely, which understandably is why Haru's not liking him, because Haru's like, give me my space. But Nagisa's also very handsy. Like he's like lifting up Momo's skirt, like looking like touching all over Notori. He's like, look, it's all fluffy. It's like, Nagisa, hands to yourself. But oh my gosh, and of course, I love the implication that even though we didn't get to see Rin and Sosuke in maid costumes because we can't have that. I love the implication that only that third years get to wear the butler costume, and then the first and second years have to wear the maid costume, which means that if they'd gone last year to this, Rin would have been the maid costume. So anybody that does fan art of Rin in the maid costume is technically canon, because it did happen last year. So there's that. But oh my gosh, and it has an OP, so I'm going to treat this as an episode. It's just a final epilogue-y episode. I'm glad that Go did not see Momo in a maid outfit, because she definitely would have been like, nope, not a chance. Stop whining and get to work. Also, okay, so Sosuke was back there cooking. Sosuke was back there cooking in the skillet. Is he going to be a chef? Because Sosuke said he was going to go back and help his father at the business. The question is Sosuke is cooking the family business? Is he going to be a cook? Or is that just a hobby? Is Sosuke just a good cook? Because that, again, we talk about how Haru and Sosuke are similar. Haru is a really good cook. He can cook really good. And Sosuke is a really good cook. So that's another thing that they both have in common. Also, there's so much fan service in this episode. It's glorious. And some of it is just gratuitous. Like the Momo with the skirt flipping up. Obviously gratuitous fan service. But might I point out, Sosuke spoon feeding Rin the bite of food. Come on, that's and Rin's all bent over eating it. It's like, come on, you show you're feeding my Rin heart here. I get it. There's so many character interactions in this OVA though that I was so happy for, that I don't think we would have seen otherwise if this hadn't happened. But yeah, the taste this, it's like, oh, it's perfect. Of course it is. Yeah, and then Mako, I love that Mako is like a little bit intimidated, like a little bit like with Momo. He's like, you're a lot. Mako just has this whole impression of Momo like, but of course, Momo and Nagisa get along perfectly because they are like same vibe, same energy. Momo and Nagisa have the same energy. It's amazing. And then I like the interaction where Haru, he said Nanase, where Haru and Momo are both like, they wear their swimsuits all the time because they're comfortable in them. It's like, okay, cool. So Momo and Haru have that connection. I never would have pegged those two characters having any type of similarity. And the So-chan. Yeah, they finally, that payoff from earlier when Rei and Nagisa were like, we should call him So-chan. He's like, he's not going to like that. And then Sosuke's like, So-chan. Like, I love it. I love it. But there's so much in here. So much in this interaction of them walking by. I like how Nagisa and Rei instantly pick up that, again, we get them walking in the hallway. I live for Mako-Rin conversations now because I just realized how Rin is kind of a mature character. He's a crybaby. He's emotional, but he's mature. And Mako's a mature character. So I like their interactions because they're all very serious when they talk to each other. And I love that Rei and Nagisa instantly clue in on the fact that Haru and Sosuke are not vibing. They're not having anything to do with each other. They're just like distant. And Nagisa's like, time to meddle. Time to get these guys together. And I like that Sosuke is really kind and gentle, and even he succumbs to Nagisa's Nakama charm. He can't resist. Because Nagisa's like, but don't you want the shark fin bun? And Sosuke's like, yes. It's so wonderful. I love it. I love it. And then Mako tries to say, and Rin's like, yeah, Haru and Sosuke are exactly the same. They are the same character. And it's like, they do have a lot of similarities. We've built up all of season 2 talking about how similar they are. And Mako tries to help with that as well. Like, oh, you guys are both really quiet and kind of standoffish, and you're not very social. Look how similar you are. And the survival game, Haru thinks it's like a mackerel game. I love the watered fight. the water gun fight is amazing. But of course, what fun thing can we do in Free that has something to do with water? Water gun laser tag. Yes, please. And I love how they switched it up because it would be very simple for it to just be Samazuka versus Iwatobi. But Nagisa's like, Ray, let's make these teams and get these guys on different teams. So they split up. And I love that Haru and Sosuke end up on the same team together, that they have to work together as a team. And as soon as they announced the teams, I'm like, well, red team's going to win. They've got Rin, they've got Mako, they've got Ray. It's like, but Nagisa's savage. He was the one thing we didn't bet on, was Team Blue having Nagisa in their back pocket. This water fight, oh my gosh, this was just amazing. I like that Kasumi shows up. I like that we get Notori and Mako interacting. That they're, and of course, Mako being the parental person, he's like, it's gonna be okay, Notori. And Notori's like, okay, I'll try my best. And of course, Rin and Ray get along together, so that's good. And then Nagisa and Momo have the same energy. Haru and Sosuke have the same energy. It's great. Like, this water fight was so wonderful. I absolutely loved it. And of course, Kasumi shows up and just has to medal. And Sosuke's like, why are you here right now? Here, be a shield. And for the record, Mako can be pretty intimidating in this water fight. Like, Mako and Nagisa, for being sunshine and rainbows, they both were like, it's over. like, we're going to be serious now. And I'm like, Mako, when he's, like, serious, is so good. And Nagisa just being a savage and getting Ray. I'm sorry, but Ray getting hit with the water gun by Nagisa and the overdramatic, like, the blood coming out, and Rin being like, no, Ray! Oh my gosh, that may have been the highlight of the episode for me. I haven't laughed that hard in a while. That was so brilliant. That was so good. I love that Rin and Kasumi instantly connect, like they do the arm bump thing, and it's like, yeah. And, And then we get more into their character, like Sosuke giving Go his coat, being nice, and Ko being like, aw, you're such a great brother-in-law. I know some people ship Sosuke and Ko. I always think of Sosuke more as like a big brother figure to her. And then the Tori like bouncing around him in the muscle costume. That's great. Momotaro-kun. And she called him by his name. And he was like, you called me by my name? Oh my gosh. You said my first name. It's the first time you said it. I'm going to cry. And then Tori's like, gotcha. And of course, Sosuke is like, what did you do to Momo? So good. Yeah, that whole scene of him getting hit. And then the slow motion of the hair with Nagisa's face and the glasses falling off. Fan service does not have to be shirtless guys. It could be something overdramatic and ridiculously hilarious like that, and I will take it any day of the week. But yeah, I love it. I love the idea of Sosuke ended up sacrificing himself for Haru, and then Haru ends up taking the shot because he just wants water in the face. And I love at the very end here where they're at the fire, where everybody's sitting in position. There's a couple things that stand out. One, Sosuke and Rin, and then Notori and Momo, and then Nagisa, Ray, and then Haru, Mako. I love that that's that. But also, again, Nagisa and Momo just take off all their clothes. They're just shirtless because they're like such free spirits that Momo and Nagisa are like, whatevs, we can sit here with our shirts off. It's totally fine. I love it. It's so good. Man. This was such a good OVA. I love this. And them all getting to talk and all getting to say stuff with each other. And then Ray being like, I wanted to talk with you because you're a fellow butterfly swimmer. And Sosuke's like, whatever, sure, okay, I'm going to be Tsundere and not admit it. But it's like, mm-hmm. And then Momo saying, like, Sosuke looks scary, but he's actually really kind. And it's like, it's true. Sosuke is really sweet on the inside. And he proved that with Go and giving Haru and taking Haru's place from getting hit and all that. It's like, oh. It's like, oh. And there was something that was said here at the end there. I'm trying to pick it up. Where after Momo said, that Sosuke is really kind. Sosuke Senpai looks scary when he's silent, but he's actually super kind. And then they say, "Is that so?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Actually, Mako-chan and Haru-chan are, and then they like stop him. I haven't said anything yet. I have a bad feeling about this. So it's like, what were you gonna say? Tell us, Nagisa. And it's like, I love it. Them all bonding and talking with one another. And it's like, it's the perfect little capstone from the end of the season because they're all graduating. And it's like, it's just so sweet. It makes me kind of sad at the end here because next season they're going to be going off separate ways. And so that's kind of sad. This is like their one little chance to all be together at the end. But that was so sweet. I loved this so much. I'm amazed that it's not on Crunchyroll or anywhere else because I'm like, this is so good. This is like one of the best things I've seen out of season 2. And then Haru acknowledges and calls Sosuke Sosuke, and Sosuke calls him Haru. It's like, guys, this was so good. So thank you, Dastardly Bastard, for sending me the link to this because this was awesome. And it may be my favorite thing of Free right now. I mean, I love season 2 to death. And there's so much I love about it. But this little OVA was so special and so much fun. I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, next week, we're not ready for season 3 yet. We still got more Free stuff to go through. And I just realized in the ED, rewatching the ED, in the ED, one of the scenes is Haru cooking food too. So again, tying back to Sosuke and Haru having so many connections with one another. Yep. I like it. So yeah, next week is the Starting Days movie. I'm excited, a full feature-length Free movie, and it's all flashback to their middle school days. I'm excited. So we're going to watch that. And then after that, we've got some more Free stuff before season 3. So I'm pretty excited. But I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. This was so much fun. I can't wait to hear your comments about it below. Thank you so much for watching. And then, yeah, I'll be back next week. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Take care. And I'll see you all again soon with more Free. Bye.